Some will embrace these words, others may not. Some will listen, others may turn away. It's never easy to please everyone. What resonates with one may not with another. Some will listen attentively while others may dismiss and look away. In this world I have loved and struggled, and from those moments traces remain.
In today's fast-paced world, where technology and time race forward, cities often feel like old, indifferent landscapes of concrete and glass, lifeless, detached. It's as if history has faded into the background. Yet, scattered throughout the streets stand silent witnesses, old buildings that hold the secrets of the past. Their walls have endured storms, their foundations have felt the passage of time, and their presence still carries an unextinguished flame. One such place is the museum house of Akhmet Baitursynuly, a modest wooden house where the voice of a nation has been preserved, a sanctuary of resilience against oblivion. Right now, this house speaks to us in silence.
According to available records, this house is believed to have been built in the 1930s. Another theory suggests it was constructed during the founding of the Verny fortress. So far, there is no definitive information on who built it. Research is ongoing. As for Akhmet Baitursynuly's connection to this house, when did he live here? We know that in 1934, after returning from exile, he resided in this house. Before his exile, he lived in other homes as well. In 1928, when Kazakhstan's first university was established, Akhmet Baitursynuly served as a professor there. At that time, he lived in a house on Universitetskaya Street, near what is now Abay University. In total, 3 houses in Almaty have been identified as places where Akhmet Baitursynuly lived. Of those, only this one has been preserved.
Akhmet Baitursynuly, 1872–1937, poet, translator, leader of national script reform, founder of Kazakh linguistics and literary studies, Turkologist, scholar, prominent educator, mentor of the Kazakh nation, and a figure of the Alash movement, a victim of Soviet repression. One of the first scholars dedicated to restoring the legacy of Alash figures, Amankos Mekteptegi, discovered this house unexpectedly, by chance, yet as if destined. When he brought Baitursynuly's descendants to the site, the building was in a dire state. Neglected for years, it had been turned into a communal residence, housing multiple families. Once a grand and striking home, its windows had been repurposed into doors. But this moment was more than just finding a house. It was about reopening a forgotten chapter of national history. We entered the house after getting permission. Inside, it was in terrible condition. Filthy, covered in soot. 8 families lived here. The rooms were blackened with smoke, the air thick with the smell of cigarettes. Cobwebs covered the walls, making it almost frightening to step inside. People lived on both the ground floor and the upper level. This modest house in the heart of the city bears witness not only to Akhmet Baitursynuly's fate, but also to the silent struggle of his descendants. Time may forget, but walls remember. Carrying the weight of her father's name, Shulpan Akhmet Kızı fought to preserve this home. Yet, being labeled the daughter of an enemy of the people made her life incredibly difficult. Surveillance, suspicion, and constant pressure followed her every step. For Shulpan, this house was more than just a home, it was the last refuge of her father's legacy. But even that was taken away. The house stood still, waiting, as if anticipating its moment in history. Then, in the 1990s, as Kazakhstan regained its sense of identity, Akhmet's house was transformed into a museum, reclaiming its place in history. A site on the brink of disappearance was given new life. Standing tall in the heart of the city, it underwent restoration and in 1994 officially opened its doors as a museum. This was not just the revival of a house, it was the return of the Alash spirit, a day when what was lost was found again and what was forgotten was remembered.
Shulpan Akhmet Kızı lived in this house for about 10 years. Before her father returned and after he was taken into exile. Her husband, Gabidin, worked as a chekist. However, because he married the daughter of a man labeled an enemy of the people, he too faced persecution.
The walls of this house seem to hold the weight of the Baitursynuly family's trials, woven with hope and fear. Every wooden beam carved into its structure silently tells a story. Built from Tanshan spruce, the house carries a distinct scent, one that deepens over time. Some say it has preserved the breath of a bygone era. Its log walls, tightly interlocked, lack the grandeur of merchant homes, yet its presence is undeniably dignified. The facade, every detail speaks in quiet elegance. The decorative moldings, sloped roof and window frames, simple yet striking. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about identity.
If you look closely, despite being only 1.5 stories tall, the museum doesn't appear small among the surrounding high-rise buildings. It stands tall because it was built on what was once a fortress, elevated by history itself.
At the intersection of Baitursun and Shevchenko streets, there is a hill that echoes time. Those familiar with the city's history have long called it the Saka Fortress. Its ridge remains visible, stretching from Masanchi Street in the north to Dostmuhamedov Street. But this is more than just a geographical landmark. It is a memory etched into the city's landscape. A place shaped by generations, chosen not by chance, but by significance. Those who built it, those who lived here, were never ordinary people.
Almaty's location in a mountainous region makes it prone to frequent earthquakes. The Verny Fortress was built in 1854, and whether this house was constructed in the 1930s or earlier, very few buildings from that time have survived. Yet, despite enduring multiple earthquakes, this house remains intact, thanks to its solid foundation. A well-built structure rarely collapses. If you step outside, you'll see its foundation, made from large natural stones and reinforced with red brick. Its walls are crafted from sturdy logs. The roof has been modified over time, but originally it was covered with wooden planks and sealed with tar paper. Today we've restored it using modern materials, but the house itself remains unchanged. Preserving its authenticity is our priority.
Almaty is a city rich with history, spanning millennia. And at House 60 on Baitursunov Street, that history converges in a single place. Here, remnants of the Saka-era fortress, a merchant's house from the Verny period, and the museum preserving Akhmet Baitursynuly's legacy all intertwine, layered within time. This house, having endured countless hardships, stands as a silent chronicle of Kazakh resilience. Even for those unfamiliar with its past, its significance is unmistakable. Its architectural beauty alone speaks volumes. Beyond its historical and structural integrity, its design carries deep meaning.
Терезедегі оюлардың өзі
Even the carvings on the windows tell a story.
Тәңіртақ дейміз.
They feature symbols of fire and the sun,
Алатаудың анау
crafted from the pines of what was once called Tangirtak, now known as the Alatau Mountains.
ағаштан жасалған. Бұл экологиялық жағынан
The entire house is made of wood, making it highly eco-friendly and breathable.
ағаштардағы оюлардың өзі бұл
These intricate carvings reflect a high level of intelligence.
күннің жаңағы белгілері салынған.
The builders were not just ordinary craftsmen, they were skilled engineers,
Сол кездегі құрылысшылар
deeply knowledgeable in symbolic architecture.
білікті сондай инженерлер салған болу керек.
Today, the museum consists of 4 rooms and a basement. One room is dedicated to Akhmet's studies, serving as a lecture hall. The remaining 3 exhibit artifacts related to Akhmet Baitursynuly's life, educational work, scientific contributions, and literary legacy. This house is more than just a place where he lived. It is a sanctuary that keeps his spirit alive. This house is more than just a place where he lived. It is a sanctuary that keeps his spirit alive. Built in the early 20th century, the museum is officially recognized as a national historical and cultural monument. It spans 160 square meters, with walls standing 3.5 meters high. Designed in a merchant-style layout, its rooms are interconnected, allowing easy movement. This makes it convenient for visitors who can explore Akhmet's legacy at a comfortable pace.
Музейді өзін жәдігер деп танитын болсақ, Ахметтің ұстанған дүниелері.
People often ask what personal belongings of Akhmet remain in the museum. I always respond with a question, what do they expect to find? Most of Akhmet's possessions were confiscated. Historian Mambet Koygildy has written extensively on this, detailing what was taken. However, some items were preserved by his relatives. Among them, a suitcase Akhmet once used, a wooden trunk for carrying books, and household items belonging to his wife, Baitursynuly, including her samovar and plates. His daughter managed to keep some of these items, but when times became difficult, she sold them to neighbors. Later, when Akhmet's name was restored, people who understood his historical significance voluntarily donated these items to the museum.
Қадір қасиетін білген кісілер музей ашылғаннан кейін кері әкеп өздері тапсырды.
Shifting shadows, rushing cars. Almaty is a city bustling with life, like an anthill of movement and energy. Yet, standing quietly on one of its streets, this house remains deeply intertwined with history, witnessing every era in silence. It does not obstruct progress, but rather guides it. This house is like a beacon, preserving the light of a nation.
We have worked hard to preserve the original structure of the house. It has been restored while maintaining its authenticity. Originally built from logs, the exterior was later plastered to protect it from weather damage and fire hazards. The house consists of 4 rooms and a basement. Today, the basement serves as an office space, but in Akhmet Baitursynuly's time, it was used as a kitchen. This museum, now a center of historical reflection, naturally draws the attention of passers-by. Locals and visitors alike stop to learn about its story.
The artifacts in this museum are more than just relics. They are witnesses. The old trunk, the suitcase, the letters, each one tells a story of a man's life and a nation's journey. The personal belongings Akhmet once used, they serve as bridges to his soul. This museum is a place of remembrance and preservation. At times, in the stillness of the night, it feels as though the walls themselves are speaking. They whisper through the rustling of papers, the dust on the shelves, and the breath of history. But only those who truly listen can hear them.